Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to talk about how do you go about fixing your broken relationship. And some relationships have fights that reoccur. One person asked me, Hilton, how do you stop the same fight over and over again? We are having the same fight that we had at year 1, we're now at year 5. Some families and some marriages, year 10 and 20, they still have the same fight. And it is almost inevitable. They know the exact patterns. Someone says this, the other one gets triggered, he or she rebuts, it creates a reaction in the other person, it escalates, and things get blown out of proportion. In fact, Dr. Gottman says that, I can't remember the statistics he gave, I don't know if it's about 59 or 69% of all problems that we have will not go away. So it's almost as if you're going to die with them. And I remember, quite interestingly, seeing a program, I think it was a Zoom program, and this marriage couple, this couples therapist mentioned the statistic. And after he was finished speaking, this lady came on and asked, well, what do you do? The guy said, well, it doesn't actually go away. The shock of horror on this woman's face I felt sorry for her. It's like, what? Am I stuck with this forever? It's like a bit of a schema. And in emotional focus therapy, they speak about the dance. And you get entrenched in this repeated habit. It's like your nervous system is triggered and you repeat the process, even though cognitively it's going to end the same way. It's like you are stuck. So how, if you're in a broken marriage with this pattern, what do you do? Well, first of all, you recognize the pattern, don't you? And Michelle Weiner says that you do something different, anything different. You just break the cycle. Whatever it is, do something different. And in fact, what Michelle Weiner says, do what the person doesn't expect. Do the opposite. I like that. So if you throw a spanner in the works, then the person must react differently. If the person expects you to shout and defend and react, then do the opposite. Just respond in a very calm, cool, non-reactionary way, and don't get triggered. Don't get your hackles up. And this will actually shock the person, because the person subconsciously is expecting you to come at him or her with guns blazing, and he or she is ready to put his armor up and take out his or her guns too, which is usually larger and bigger than yours, and blaze back at you. And then none of you will come out. Both of you will start mudslinging one another, criticizing each other, and slaughtering each other's character. So do something different, anything different. And I like what Michelle Weiner suggests, is that usually just do the opposite of what the person is expecting. But let's go a little bit deeper. If this is a recurring theme, what happens is that there is a need beyond the surface level of argument and fight. There is a need that is not being satisfied. There is a desire that is very important to either you or your spouse, or even both of them, and you're not articulating it in a way that your spouse could hear. Maybe you're blaming and shaming. Neither is your spouse literally showing their vulnerable parts. It's not necessarily about the issue. And I once heard a person say, and I can't remember the name of this person, that the issue is not the issue. The thing that you're arguing about, you're fighting about, is not the thing, is the symptom. It is the sign of the thing. It's like having cold, Many of you would probably know that the sneezing, the coughing, and the mucus, the constant mucus that is coming up, these are all symptoms of the underlying cause. And until you get rid of the cause, the symptoms will constantly come back again and again and again. So, in the calmness of your soul, Don't wait until you're in the full-blown fight to try to negotiate this, because once you are heightened, once you are in once your subconscious mind or the lizard brain or the animalistic passions are firing and you're angry, you cannot negotiate. You're not hearing each other. You cannot conversate or talk. You cannot clearly express your needs and your desire. What you should focus on at that time, when you are fully in the heat of the moment, blazing guns, and what you need to focus on is to bring the temperature down, is to ground yourself and return back to normal everyday functioning, so that your cognitive mind, your intelligence could now kick back in and you could take. And one of the ways you do that is to stop. If you find yourself saying things that you shouldn't say, if you find that the situation, the conversation, the argument is being escalated and the ante is going up and up, call for time out. Say, look, right now I'm not thinking straight, and if we continue, I'm afraid that we might do and say things that we will regret. I need to take a break. I'm going to come back to this. Maybe we could come back within an hour, or maybe we could sleep on it, and tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, we could return while we are calm, cool, and collected, so that we can process these things in a much better way. So, stop. S is for stop. T is to take a step back. O is to observe. Observe your feelings. Observe what is happening within you. And P is to progress with caution. Now, the best way to tackle these ever-recurring fights that you're having is probably when you're not fighting. Well, not probably. The most important thing is when you are not fighting. Just start to think, what is it that is causing me to behave this way? What are the thoughts that are going through my mind prior to that or during that? What are the emotions that I'm feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body? What is actually happening? Perhaps one person told me that, she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel protected. And as a result of that, as we were discussing and exploring the issues and fights, she has never felt secure and protected. And as a result of that, everything bothers her. She's irritated and and she thinks, whatever he says, she feels that she's being attacked. And this, it doesn't help when you're not aware that this is the ground. But when she became aware of this, then we spoke about, what can she do to help her spouse understand the vulnerability, the vulnerable nature of her heart, the unsafe, unprotected situation that she feels and finds herself in. What can he do to address that? And of course it's not going to be solved overnight, but what actions? You can't just complain and because the person doesn't even know. If you don't know what is bothering you deep inside the recesses of your heart and soul, then the person would be blindsided by your reaction. So if you could just simply say, I've never really felt that I am cared for, that you have my back. I've never really sensed, maybe once or twice that this has happened, and then you could share the time that it happened and then express how important it is for you. And then also go on to say that when this doesn't happen and things are said or done, there's a story that your mind makes up. You may feel vulnerable, ashamed, you may feel resentful, bitter, angry, and these are the emotions that flood your soul that causes you to respond. And then you may ask, I would love if you can back me up sometimes, when people are attacking me, when people are having a go at me, if you could just stand up for me, it would make me feel valued, protected. Is it possible that you can do that? And you allow the person to respond. And you have a calm conversation about the needs. You give the person a chance to share, what do you really need from me? What can I possibly do or say? How can I act that would make you feel that you are important to me. So during this moment, it is not about blaming or shaming or defending or attacking and counter-attacking. It's about exploring the unmet needs that are resting deep below this, the emotions and the words and the actions that causes conflict. You know, if you would like some support and help with this, if you're in a broken marriage or if you're in an unhealthy marriage, a toxic relationship, and you want some support, feel free to reach out, ask a question, book a free session with me, and let us see how we can get that which you deserve, the love you deserve back. I look forward to hearing from you. In the meanwhile, stay strong. Do something different. Stop the fight. Break the cycle. You can do it.